Greetings, I am Herbert Erpaderp, and it's time for Ask a Herbert Erpaderp once again. That's right, 2 weeks have passed again in what seems like the blink of an eye. Anyway, let's get to the questions. First up, a patron voice question from Major General Bunk.
Hello Herbert, do you have dreams that stand out so you remember them for the whole rest of the day? Also, what's the strangest dream you've had?
I almost always forget my dreams. It's actually kind of frustrating because I know sometimes I've had really weird or interesting or even funny dreams, and I remember them when I wake up, but it's almost immediately gone unless for whatever reason I write it down or tell somebody right away. As such, I can't actually think of anything I've dreamed that would be in any way interesting to answer with. I know I've woken up many times and thought, was that a dream or something that really happened? I just can't think of anything more specific. Sometimes I really hate my brain. And now, text-based questions, starting with the ones from Discord. A duck drinking cough syrup said, do you play tabletop war games at your friends' houses, or stores or whatever, or do you play only at home? If you do play at places outside of your home, how do you transport your miniatures? And do you think a magnetized case is a good idea? I very rarely play tabletop games at all. It's hard to organise time and motivation with people where we'll have a decent enough amount of time to play. Then you have to consider setup and teardown time as well. Unless you play in a shop or something like that, in which case you have to deal with other people being around. I guess the main portion of the question though is the transport. I have bags with foam trays in them for my Flames of War and Bolt Action forces, though I don't have enough space in them for all of my Bolt Action or Flames models, but I don't really need it. I only need enough to move one army. If I had extra stuff that needed to be moved on the day, I'd just use a cardboard box, maybe like a larger model box and some foam, and also a great deal of care when moving it around. Also, I do think magnetized cases are a good idea. My 40k Tau stuff, at least the stuff I got finished, is all on magnetic bases that I think came from Gale Force 9. And that army was transported inside a metal toolbox, the kind with the fold-out trays in the top. It actually worked quite well. I'm sure there are a few ways you can magnetize for transport, and as long as you're not too rough with the case during transport, it seems like a good choice. Trekan Belovich said, some time ago you made a video about a bolt action game, Herbert vs Erpaderp. I liked that. Do you have any plans to film such an epic clash of minds again? I have been wanting to do another one of those for a while, it's just a matter of finding time. Out of anything I do, I find those videos take the longest to do. I don't have space for a permanently set up gaming table, and if I did have the space I'd probably use it for other things, so it does take a bit of time to set up, in addition to playing the game while trying to film it. I was actually thinking about it the other day, mostly because I was thinking about painting some more of the E-War structures that I have for use in bolt action games. I would actually like to get all of the ones I have done before I play another solo game. I might have to make it a Patreon reward or something like that. I don't know, but I do want it to be worth the time that it takes to make those videos. At the moment, it's a solid maybe. If I had an air-conditioned space in which to do that, it would definitely improve the chances of it happening. At this rate, it probably won't happen until winter. Mr. Plays87 said, what's your opinion on lemons? Can you eat them like any other fruit or find them too sour? I haven't actually just eaten a lemon for a really long time. Maybe I would like it now, I don't know. I think as far as citrus fruits go, I would prefer to stick to oranges. Ratto said, how do you like the new patch on 7 Days to Die? I would say the game is definitely a lot different and better than I remember, though because of how long it's been since I played, I don't really know what's different in the most recent patch. That said, I've really been enjoying it. I did stream it a couple of times, but it didn't seem like something people wanted to watch, so I haven't bothered since. There's not a lot of point in taking the performance hit from running OBS with an average of 0 viewers, though Barnaby and I have been playing it a lot. We managed to play at least a little bit most days actually. It's good times. I almost certainly have some 7 Days as background video right now in fact. Bliatzkrieg said, Joachim Broden flammenwerfed me when I was in the Sabaton concert. What do I do? Go to hospital for Flammenburnen treatment, I guess? Sabaton are awesome, and I'm glad you enjoyed the show. I am assuming that you enjoyed the show, but I don't think I'm wrong. Skeletor said, do you like fireworks which give loud bang? I guess it's more interesting than fireworks that give no bang. Joseph Stalin said, have you ever superglued your face to the mirror? Asking for a friend. You're asking for yourself, aren't you? I know you are, it's okay. I won't ask what you were doing to manage that. Anyway, that's not something I've ever done. I have glued model bits to myself and clothing to myself, but not myself to a mirror. Trekan Belovich said, if any tank chills in a church, does it become a Churchill? Only if that church is on a hill. It doesn't work in just any old church. The local history guy said, if a panzer comes from a swamp, does it become a Panzer Shrek? Absolutely. In the comment section of last fortnight's Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, Jan Tima said, there are lots of forest fires going on in Australia. Do you live close to any of those? Also, I am 14 and build models, so modelling isn't a dying hobby, I think. I totally agree that it's not dying, and there's plenty of evidence for that around. Also, the fires are more bushfires than forest fires, but I guess that's really just being pedantic. There have been fires in my area recently. I've actually seen more smoke than fire, and it's actually kind of horrible, but I do believe a couple of houses nearby have at least been damaged, if not completely burnt down. It's not super likely that my place is at risk, but I do still have important and useful stuff ready to go if I need to. I also understand that some teenagers were arrested last week for setting some fires in the area. You have to be pretty stupid to do that sort of thing, though there are actually a lot of causes, including issues associated with climate change, and the agencies responsible for backburning and bushland management having excessive budget cuts, which is incredibly stupid. I was actually very irritated the other day seeing the Prime Minister comment that people affected by the fires would be happy now that the cricket is on. What an absolute piece of shit. Anyway, Ella Main OFC said, do you like Slipknot? They're not really my cup of tea. I guess they have some okay songs, but they've never really appealed to me, partly because the lyrical content is kind of uninteresting to me at best, because it's the kind of whiny, edgy teenager level stuff, like, everything sucks and it's everyone else's fault and I'm a psycho maggot, and partially because of the obsessive Slipknot fans that are pretty much the embodiment of that lyrical content. It is kind of silly that exhausting fans of music can ruin it, but they do. Same goes for stuff like Slayer or Tool or whatever. That said, I do think it's pretty awesome that a metal band can achieve the kind of success that Slipknot have. I just don't really want to listen to them. EP Art said, what are your thoughts on Vlare, Vidly, or similar SFW streaming websites beyond YouTube? I've never heard of Vlare or Vlare, though I did look at Vidly a while ago, and I do understand that they have a partner program where it's possible to earn revenue, though I don't know much about it beyond that. It probably is worth looking around for that sort of thing periodically, though at this point there isn't really a viable alternative to YouTube. With the upcoming copper thing that people are so worked up about, I may well have to find a new place to host my videos. And in that case I would almost certainly stop doing them on a weekly basis, and likely there would be a bit more Patreon exclusivity. I think actually I would focus more on streaming than videos. That said, even though it's actually pretty disgusting that YouTube would work out a deal to have creators thrown under the bus for what is actually their responsibility in not collecting information on people under 13, and that is what it is, YouTube covering their own arse, I don't feel like it's as drastic as a lot of people seem to think it's going to be. I'm not one to panic because, well, that's just not helpful, so I'm not that worried, and if my channel does suddenly disappear, I'll still be okay. Unless they find me into oblivion. I'll still be making stuff, my Discord and Twitch channel will still be there just might be fewer videos, and you might need to be a patron to watch some of them. All of that said, maybe if the worst does happen on YouTube, it will be happening to a lot of people, and so there might be more of a push towards some other service that might become more viable for weekly videos. The future is always uncertain, even if you think it is certain. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, really. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about something more interesting. Models. Here's a small section of stuff that has been shared on my Discord server over the last couple of weeks. As always, I'm not sharing everything that's been posted. You might have 6,000 hours for a video to share everything, but I don't. So if you want to see everything, head on over to Discord, the link to which is in the description below. Space Monkey shared this Darth Vader.
Make it so, number one.
I'm a child and shouldn't be allowed to play with voice effects. The model looks really cool. I like the highlighting and I especially like the browny red lenses in the eyes. Space Monkey says this is based on the Rogue One Darth Vader. Very well done. Monol shared this Mengtoons T-34 which looks very cartoony, which is of course intentional, being a toon tank and all. These aren't really my favourite style of model, which I probably say every time, but it's still very nice to see something well done, and I think this is very well done. Ratto has shared this huge swarm of 40k Catachan figures. That is how you pronounce that, right? Catachan? These are all, unsurprisingly, very well done, and there are so many of them. These must have taken ages to paint. It's always awesome to see Ratto's work. If you look closely in the big group pictures, there's a little Easter egg. I was quite amused when I spotted it. Awesome work as always. Trekan Belovic shared this Merkava for their Israeli force. This is a 15mm scale plastic model by Battlefront, which has been painted very nicely. Merkava is a pretty interesting looking tank. I'm not usually a big fan of the more modern equipment, but it is interesting to look at, and I am actually kind of tempted to pick one of these up for myself. Very nice work. Colonel Paul Do Not Even Try Gamma shared this amazing looking Hetzer. There's a couple of bits missing, but nothing too major. I'm sure it's fine. Actually, Paul was commissioned to build this to represent a Hetzer that was knocked out in the client's hometown, and I assume has been preserved as a monument. This is the Tamiya 1/48 scale Hetzer kit, which Paul says is quite nice to build. I'm not surprised to hear that. I'm really tempted to get this Hetzer myself, though I haven't seen it in the hobby shop yet. When I do, boy howdy. Anyway, this is amazing work, and I'm excited to see what you do next. Emil BT, if that's how you say it, shared this fantastic M8 Greyhound. I'm not sure what scale or manufacturer this kit is from. If it doesn't say where the pictures are posted, I probably won't figure that out myself, but that's not the important thing here. The important thing is obviously how well this has been painted. It's very good work. It looks like a very nice model to begin with, but the painting is top notch. It's the smaller details like the markings on the ammo box for the machine gun that help it all come together. Very nice. Stuglife has scratch built these exhaust covers for a Tiger. I believe these are made from pie trays. Pie. If you ask me, these look rather convincing, and I bet you could do some pretty realistic damage to them. You can see that one of them in the second picture is a bit dinged up. Very cool. I'd like to see how they look painted. Vrokali has shared this 40k Dreadnought, saying that this is the first Dreadnought they've ever painted. I rather like it. It looks like it's been doing grimdark war for thousands of years. Very well done. Costas has shared some of their latest models, all of which are in 15mm scale. The first 3 models are from Battlefront, and they've been painted up for a Greek force. The last one is also a Greek vehicle, an M109 by Zvezda. All of them are very nicely done. It's always cool to see stuff painted up for the less common forces. Excellent work. Solo Jones 1985 shared this Ventura Mark II, which is a Revell 1/48 scale kit, if the box behind the model is to be believed. I think we can trust it. This is a clear improvement on the previous models you've posted. I would suggest some masking for those straight lines like where the black meets the camo, but this is good work. Keep it up. It's nice to see people improve as they go. And that's it for the models this fortnight. Thank you all for sharing your work, even if it wasn't in this fortnight's video. I do always enjoy scrolling through the modelling channel on Discord. Now, let's have a look at some of the arts and crafts. First up, we've got this awesome FT17 by Alpha 5. The shading and colour choices here are great. If I had space on my walls for art, I would definitely put something like this up. It's great work. I hope you'll share more of it in the future. Issue, Here's a Tissue shared this artwork of a KV crew asking a bike person for directions. This is excellent. I'm no expert, but this looks like it's been done in ink. I think the little bits of texture and shading look really good. And here's a big robo-boy of some sort. I'm not sure if this is an original creation or something that already existed, but it looks amazing. You have clearly invested quite a few skill points in art. Corned Beef shared this nicely detailed sketch of an NR class locomotive. There's a Suburban electric set behind it, but I'm not sure what those are called. Awesome work! Seal shared this KV2 turret made from cardboard, and mentions that it's not 100% accurate. That doesn't matter to me, I think it's awesome. You don't often see models made from paper and cardboard. Well, I don't anyway. I don't know about you. It is awesome though, and I hope to see the hull built at some point as well. Very cool. And Bliatzkrieg has drawn this Ingram from Girls Frontline. I don't know what that is. It seems like it might be some sort of anime game. But this is a pretty decent drawing. Good work. And that's it for this fortnight's Ask a Herbert Erpaderp. A very big thank you to everybody who asked questions, shared models and artwork. I appreciate you. Also, if you have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section below or on Discord. And if you want to share your own modelling or artwork, that can be done in the appropriate channels on Discord as well. I'm sure you can figure out which ones those are. Ask a Herbert Erpaderp will return in a fortnight, but in the meantime, feel free to check out some of my other videos, or come watch me stream on Twitch. Links to all of my things are in the description below. And as always, I shall return soon, so until then, be excellent to each other, and thanks for watching. Farewell.